Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome to Etta, Arlene's Spiritcast. If you're new to this podcast, we talk about all things related to mindfulness, magic, astrology, tarot, Reiki, meditation, spirituality in general, anything in that realm. Today we're super excited to share an interview we did with two amazing guests. They are Grace and Shannon with the Reiki Loop.
We love them.
We had so much fun talking to them. We actually ended up talking to them for 5 hours. We just kept talking. We did the interview and then we just kept it going. You know, they were so amazing and we just connected with them so well.
It's always fun when you meet people that you can connect with instantly and actually have similar stories to tell and similar experiences. And when you get that, it's like...
I mean, it felt like we were talking to just like old friends. It's so weird. Like we just instantly, it was
I love
really
that
awesome.
stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. It shows you how connected we all are and we choose not to be. Like, we can all relate on so many different levels and if you just open up to it.
Yeah. But yeah, the interview was pretty amazing.
Yeah, you're going to know why we love them so much. They're so lovely. They just have so much, just the embodiment of light worker, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're just as, like, light in this world.
That we need.
Yeah. I mean, just they want to help the planet so much and... they're so loving. Like, we meet a lot of people. Not that, we haven't met other loving people, but, like, the energy radiates off of the two of them. The capacity of love that they have for, like, everybody on this planet. And it's just crazy, amazing, and cool. Just,
They're in direct alignment with our life's missions. And I think that's what did it. We were like, hell yeah. Another duo killing it. So
just some baddies out here making it happen.
So some more bad bitch light workers out here. Join the club. We got this. Love will always win.
Always, yeah. So this interview starts off a little bit different. Sometimes we do meditations and you guys get like little healings and stuff like that in the interview. And for their interview, we're warning you right now, it starts out with a invocation. She like opens a circle. You are welcome to meditate. It's only a couple minutes long. If you're driving, it's okay. You don't have to like stop the car. But if you are just like listening to this, feel free to like jump in that vibe and meditate with us, and then we get into the interview after that. But before we start, we want to remind you guys to follow us. You want to tell them where they can follow us?
You can follow us on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, at Arlene. It's all linked down below. You can become a patron if you want. We post exclusive content on Patreon only. It's linked down below as well. And then we post Reiki-infused videos to YouTube almost every single day. So you can go over there and subscribe and get the juice.
Yeah. And then we have our winter candles up. They smell really good for the holiday season. Really excited. My favorite's buttered rum probably for holiday.
Mine's apple pie bourbon.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of just winter. It reminds me of Christmas. It reminds me of like cozy home.
Yeah.
Both amazing. All of our candles are amazing. It's not.
We do have like a Moonchild candle. That's
we
did
just drop
related.
that. Yeah.
We have it says Moonchild on it. And then we're we have them off and on, but they're like cleansing kits. So it's like a candle, and you get like a crystal, depending on the kind you get. It's like selenite and a candle and sage, and all
so
that
we're going to
stuff.
have limited quantities of those available soon. Probably by the time you guys listen to this, or soon after. So check back.
We have them off and on, and so we thought we'd bring them back for the holidays. Just kind of cleanse your vibes so you can have a good
fix
time.
the vibe. We gotta end 2020 with some good energy and bring in 2021 with amazingness. Is that even a word? It is now. Amazingness.
I guess. Are we forgetting anything? I think that's it.
There's Reiki at the end.
Yeah,
there's Reiki at the end of every single podcast episode if you want to stick around and listen to that as well. I think we're good to get in.
Yeah. All right. So we'll have an ad, and then remember we're doing that quick meditation at the beginning of the episode.
It's instant.
Yeah, it just starts. There's no warning. So after that ad, get ready. And
yeah, we hope you love it.
Here's a quick note from one of our sponsors, and then we'll get into today's awesome episode. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, let me give you a rundown. Basically, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Here's how it works.
Anchor lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today.
Then you can distribute your podcast to the most popular listening platforms, including Spotify, with a single tap. Anchor is also the only place you can publish video podcasts to Spotify.
With Anchor, creators can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, Anchor is totally free.
Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Take a deep breath and exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. Become present to your body. Notice the weight of your body against any surface it's touching. Just know in this moment you are supported. And through this invocation, may we become magnets, pulling light towards ourselves. May we feel more joy, wisdom, and harmony. May we feel more purpose, energy, and creativity. And may we experience and radiate more love. For this invocation, let the divine light lovingly guide us to reawaken our connection with our true selves and our highest power. By consciously invoking the help and guidance of higher beings, we acknowledge their presence, and we reach up to where the help resides and bring it down here to where the help is needed. May the universe and all the beings of the light receive this invocation as a prayer of gratitude for everything they have to teach us, inspire us, and add to our light as the light that we carry in the world. May we unite with spiritual masters during this session. We ask for the blessings we need in life through this session together. In contacting our inner source, we hope that we learn to use our own power, our own voice, and our own heart to call upon the love and light of spirit to work within us, especially in these times of personal and planetary expansion. During our session together, may we release old energy, fears, harmful thoughts. May we release toxic patterns and negative attachments. May we release any outdated beliefs or anything out of alignment. We invite transformation, and we welcome shift in energy. We are clearing the space for a new chapter, filled with amazing opportunities, deep soul connections, abundance, and magnificent blessings. This space between Etta, Arlene, Shannon, and Grace is now a sacred space. And to be within our circle, to be listening to this podcast, is to be within the presence of universal truth and light. To be within this circle is to tap into the immanent and transcendent source of all life. Only love may enter and only love may leave. Anything less than will fall away. Everything must meet the highest vibration of good, the highest love. We are free now to contemplate these words, to move forward with this podcast and interview, so we can connect, speak truthfully, and share whatever is in our heart tonight. Deep breath in and exhale. We are now connected through time and space together.
Oh, thank you. That was wonderful.
That was beautiful.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you, Grace.
Man,
wow.
I feel good.
Yeah. Oh, man, you guys. All right. Well, this is Grace and Shannon on our podcast today. And they are the creators of the Reiki Loop, which is really awesome. And we can actually let them tell you guys what it is and, you know, how amazing it is for everybody, I think. So, yeah, if you guys want to tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes, thank you so much. So, hi, everyone. I'm Shannon, just so maybe you can know the voices. Who did the invocation was Grace, who's next to me.
Hi, everyone. Grace here.
But we are the co-founders of the Reiki Loop, which, as I guess a quick synopsis of it, is the idea that we want to make Reiki accessible to everyone, and realizing as we went through our training that the practice of Reiki traditionally has been held in a place where only those who can afford it can really access it, right? It came to the States with a really high price tag, and as there were the reasonings for that, we're kind of in a space of everyone deserves and is worthy and has this divine right to heal themselves. And it is no healer's job to do it for the individual, but the healer's job to create the space to do so. And with the Reiki Loop, we want to make Reiki accessible to anyone and everyone who's seeking. So instead of it being a traditional one-on-one session, we are making it all virtual. And we have membership packages the same way, let's say you're going to, like you buy an app for so much per month and you get charged randomly from your Apple. But like a meditation app or for a yoga studio and you pay your monthly like fee, or you do like 4 sessions for so much or 1 session drop-in for so much. And this allows it to be the community that we create, and each session we have can be as large or small as what's guiding that time, and it makes each session less financially for people to take on. So when they're seeking it, they can access it at any time. And the Reiki Loop also allows us to bring in other Reiki healers as well to host their own sessions, because Grace and I are aware that those who are attracted to us as Reiki healers aren't necessarily the same, isn't necessarily a properly represented or diverse group. And we want everyone to feel seen and everyone to have that space to be open and vulnerable and to heal. So that's why we are growing and continuing to add on other healers as well to come into the Reiki Loop. So then we can have these accessible spaces that can attract whoever is meant to be attracted to whichever healer.
Right. And yeah, the Reiki Loop, it really operates as a platform for Reiki healers. And because of that, and because of working in the format of a circle, instead of having like these one-on-one sessions, you know, bringing these sort of communal sessions together, really teaching people the skills to become their own self-healers, because we think, you know, and I'm sure that you guys have seen this too in your work. You know, one of the most amazing steps for us in our Reiki journey was learning that we are our own self-healers, like that we have everything we need to heal and empower ourselves. And so when we were creating the Reiki Loop, we were trying to figure out, you know, how can we, make this accessible, because I think that's super important to us, to make it inclusive and representative, which is an aspirational goal, but it is something that we value, and to make it so that people understand that, you know, we don't hold any more power than they do, and to really shift from the teacher-student model to this sort of facilitator model, where we're able to facilitate Reiki experiences in which people, again, are empowered by it. They're empowered to lead their own healing journeys, empowered to step into their own energy. And so, that's how we came to create this platform. And we're excited to see it grow and see it evolve. And we're excited to be here tonight to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I love that. That's like something that we firmly believe, that all of this stuff should be very accessible. You know, that if you need it, there shouldn't be this like wall, or feel like there's a wall for you to like receive that. And so I really appreciate like what you guys are doing and helping, like, you know, get people into this like healing modality. I mean, that's how we operate. That's how our teachers kind of were. So it kind of like ingrained like within us for that. And she, like our teacher even talked about like how Takata had really started with like charging 10 grand to get certified, you know? And then she was like, you know, she did it because she was trying to add value to Reiki. And she felt like in the West, we wouldn't like appreciate it unless it had that like price tag. So there's a lot of like healers who do operate that way. They feel that we have to like pay, you know, you have to give that value so it's like respected. But right now it seems like we're coming out of that, and the most important thing is that everybody has this access to it. Because we actually saw a yoga studio that was doing the kind of like pay what you can model and like teacher training, because of what you guys were saying, that like, you know, it should be accessible to people. You know, you shouldn't feel like you can't learn it because of whatever, like, you know, you can't find a teacher or you can't afford it or X, Y, and Z. And it's cool that you have multiple Reiki practitioners, because sometimes people resonate more with somebody else whenever you're doing any type of, you know, anything. Like if it's tarot, like certain readers are not going to work for certain people. Same thing with like Reiki, any kind of like modality. So it's nice that you're able to like give those options for people who come to you guys. But right now, you guys do the moon Reiki circles right now, right? Or are you going to continue that in through the Reiki loop?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that is something that's going to be offered continuously as well, just because we have had so much fun doing it for now. I think it's been 5 months that we've been doing it. And what our full moon circles have been is combining yoga with Reiki. So we start off by, creating the sacred space, and then Grace, who is a yoga teacher, leads us through a flow that connects with that full moon and the energies that are present. And then we go into a journey. And for us, how we've separated the circles for the Reiki loop is we have sessions, which are how we see it more traditional, is calling in the energy and allowing it to move through the individual's body without being guided in any way. We have journeys, which for those who aren't familiar with journeys, it's almost like a guided hypnosis in a way, but you're calling in the energies of Reiki during it. So for full moons, we do journeys predominantly within that. And because the full moon is so heightened emotionally, people have had really incredible experiences within their journey.
Definitely. And with full moons, it's such an important time to start understanding like what you need to be releasing. And I think because the emotions are normally very surface at that point, it's more obvious what needs to go and what you need to release and let go. And again, we've had, I think as practitioners, we're always curious, like, what are people experiencing, on the other side, like, because we each have our own experiences in a healing space. And we've seen a lot of really like powerful moments where, it's the movement and the Reiki infused in the movement that's is powerful. And then getting a chance to go inward and to really be guided by, the visuals being presented in the journey, and to ask questions, and just again to create a space where people can show up authentically and wherever they are in their own healing space and journey. So and they're really fun. It's been a really great, I don't know, as the giver of the Reiki circle, I really love it, obviously. but so I love doing it, but I also think that we have people return often, and they look forward to it. And I think it's been really special for those people who've been able to join. And our hope is that we can actually grow it, because right now it's a closed group. We have a 10-person cap. We're looking at how we can expand it, or perhaps offer it to more people beyond what we can currently facilitate. So
you guys do the Holy Fire Reiki, correct? So can you tell our listeners what the difference is from whenever you hear Reiki, like what is the difference between, say, just regular Sui Reiki and then what you guys practice?
Yeah, so I think there's definitely many different interpretations of it. So this is, I know mine is Reiki in any shape and form is just your connection to spirit or however you envision it. And there are different modalities because people are meant to attract to whatever modality will connect them to that divine in whatever way is authentic to them. So I feel like it is just same thing, different textbook, right? But it's the same. But where Holy Fire Reiki came in is actually coming off of understanding that Reiki should be more accessible to the masses, and that instead of it being practitioner to person receiving, client, that's the word. It actually is all the practitioners doing is creating the space, and it is the client that's directly connected to Reiki. And is almost taking away the middleman, because really you are the connection to Reiki. It's you, and all that practitioner is doing is opening the space and welcoming it in for the individual, but it's that person who is activating it within them. So that's what Holy Fire brought to us, and that was really attractive to Grace and I as we were diving into the world of Reiki, because we wanted this to be accessible to everyone. And as we mentioned before, we truly feel that you are your own healer, and Reiki really embodies that. You are the direct connection to Reiki.
And I feel like Arlene was just saying earlier, like nothing happens kind of by accident. And, we crossed paths with a teacher who really has encouraged us to take charge of our own healing journeys, and has invited us into Holy Fire Reiki too. So a part of it was just, it's invitation as well. It's like, this was a space where, we were invited, and it got, I don't know, it's a super interesting, because like, that's always a question I have, because as we meet more healers, everyone has kind of a different brand of like energy that they work with. And so the way that I think of it is just like, there are many chords on a guitar, right? And you can strum all of them at once, or you can strum one at a time. And Reiki, Holy Fire Reiki is just like one of the chords. And yeah, it's a really soft, gentle, healing, empowering energy. And it's funny because we did do Usui training as well. Mm-hmm. And so there's not like crazy amounts of differences, as Shannon was saying. It's just like a different approach, and looking at sort of just the different vibrations of energy that like exist, and start exploring new ones. That's at least how it was experienced by me. Because even so, I was telling Shannon actually this morning, I was giving Reiki to an individual, and it felt different after my last attunement. So as the practitioner, like I was having a different experience where there was more vivid colors. Like there's always been colors I visualize when I'm giving Reiki, but it's like they were a little more vivid, and there was some like blue fire, as Shannon was mentioning before we started the recording. And so I have noticed sort of a difference in my giving, and definitely in my own self-healing with Reiki.
But on that, you guys were mentioning that when you had your Reiki attunements, that you had some pretty cool experiences, and I would love to hear about yours.
Oh yeah.
You can go first. You want to go first?
I can.
You
so
do it.
We did our attunements. It was distant. Some people don't like distant, but that's how we did it. And hers was before mine, and we're just completely like, it's gonna be amazing, because there's so many different stories about people when they get attunements. Some people are like, I see, like you were saying, colors. Some people say see auras after. There's just so many different things, but I'm thinking it's gonna just be really chill and just I'll be really relaxed. It'll be great. And then I call her after she had hers, and she's like, I don't know, like what is real. Like we joke, we can tell, like we've met other people who like just got attunements, and now I don't know if you guys have this experience, but you can tell like when somebody's just been like attuned to the energy, because they have this kind of like and so comes my time, and all the noise just like a snap, like just everything went silent. And then I started feeling like the tapping. When you attune people, you like tap on their chakras, but this was distant. So but I'm feeling like tapping on like my chakras, and then so I have like a fake hip, and I have like hip things, and I could feel like the energy like going like where my hips were. I'm like, what is going on? And then I felt immense pressure in my like crown chakra, like immense. Like it felt like somebody was like pushing down into like my crown chakra, and then my throat felt like really tight, and it felt like somebody was like digging something out. Like I can't explain it. It like felt like digging. It was like almost painful. Like how crazy, like I could feel this like energy happening, to a point where I was like, okay guys, this is like a little bit much. Like I said it out loud. I'm like, is this like
is this required?
Because it was so much like pressure on my crown chakra. It just felt like somebody's like pushing. I'm like, okay, like this is crazy. And then I like get up from it, and it felt like I was like seeing like the world differently. And I had like a crazy headache, and then my throat's all like scratchy, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Because before it all, I was telling her, like, we're like trying to guess which chakras are like, messed up. You do that. You're like, oh, I think this chakra is like weird, and I'm thinking all my lower chakras are a mess, but it wasn't the case. Whenever I had the attunement, it was all my upper chakras that were being, not that my other chakras weren't, like I could feel the energy with all of them, but like it was my upper chakras that were really like crazy. And I'm an artist, and at that point in time I hadn't been allowing myself to like express myself with art, because I felt like what's the point, like the narrative, like you can't make money off of art, like all of that stuff. And so in the process of not like allowing myself to do art, my throat chakra was just destroyed. Like I was like, okay, like, and I'm getting like guidance while I'm having this like set, like the attunement, and I'm feeling like, oh, okay, so I was, I need to like express myself, like that's it, like I have to balance, like if I don't, it's not going to be good. And I realized like my connection to the divine was not what I thought it was at that point. It was just a very physical experience. And then right after the session, because your body like purges, it can purge things like the healing crisis. And this is like TMI, but like I don't care. I had been on like a birth control that you're not supposed to have a period for, like at all. And then I started bleeding. Like Um,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my goodness, I just couldn't believe there was such a physical reaction to the attunement. And then like I said, I was like for several days just adjusting to the energy. I'm like, I don't know like what's real. Like I just was in this like weird like headspace and in a good way. And I had a really bad headache for a few days, and it was it was the same pressure at the top. It was like my crown chakra. It was so noticeable. Like it's like you can't make it up. Like, and that's why that buddy of mine was like, yeah, you had an attunement like that, so that it would be like, now, like this is real. Like this is something that you can work with, and that's there for you. But her experience was a little bit different, but quite similar.
So I went first. Mine was before her, like it's a couple hours before, and so I was getting ready, and I was in a meditative state, and I just put on like Hertz music for like an hour, for the attunement. And the attunement was only supposed to be like a half hour long, and similar situation with like everything going silent, but I had extreme pain in my lower chakras.
So it was like
it was flipped. So it was flipped. So mine was my root, my solar plexus, and my sacral were all needing worked on, but it literally felt like a hand was digging into my root chakra and just pulling, like same thing, pulling out all this gunk. And I was tripped out. I'm like, this isn't what's happening. Like I felt like paralyzed almost.
Yeah.
In fear, but it wasn't nearly as painful as hers, I don't think.
I can't. We like laugh about it. It felt
we laugh about it now, but like she said, it triggered my period to start literally the next day.
Same.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Oh,
it triggered it to start it, but mine, like I was in that like euphoric state. I was like lollipops and rainbows, like cloud nine. Like I felt like I was bouncing through life for like 2 weeks, and we made the mistake of scheduling out a bunch of stuff the next day.
Yeah.
Like social events and stuff, and we like.
Our friend came to town. He'd been out of the country, and we like literally like the day after, we're like, hey,
are you guys okay?
Yeah.
We were spacey. It was spacey, but we were completely sober. It was just like super spacey, trying to understand and like, and it reinforced my belief in magic even further. Even further than I already was before.
You had visuals.
I'm sorry. I had crazy visuals during it. There was a moment where I was on a beach, like seeing the waves. I could feel the waves, feel the breeze hit me. I was in space. Like I saw like the stars and stuff, but I was getting all this guidance too from multiple different members of something during my attunement. And it was telling me like giving me all this information of things I needed to work on, and we implemented it.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I mean, I have not attuned anybody yet, and it's just because I'm taking my time with it still. Like I'm still like, I don't know, just kind of like absorbing Reiki. It's been a long time since we've been attuned. It's just, I don't know, I just feel like I'm still working with it, if that makes sense, and still like kind of, I don't know where I'm at, but I talk about like what I would do differently if I were going to like attune like somebody. I would definitely make sure there's like a window where they don't have to do anything. Like you need 3 days where you're just getting used to this energy and letting it like assimilate with your body.
2 weeks. Give them 2 weeks.
I was really like in it just
because that was one of the problems I felt like trying to integrate back into society and like operate normally was very challenging.
Yeah,
very challenging. And like literally, it was really challenging because like you're trying to explain this experience that you went through, and you're talking to people who don't believe in more than just what's happening right now, and you're trying to explain things that the unseen and the unheard. That was challenging. So I would definitely. I would take a retreat for 2 weeks. Yeah. And if I was attuning somebody, like literally go away from society completely and go to a cabin somewhere and just have them be able to deal with it and process it and handle, start processing the healing crisis that occurs. It brings up a lot of emotions, things you have to work through. Yeah. And let them be able to figure that out, like meditate some in the nature, like go float in a lake for 8 hours. I don't know. But like, I would have them do something not here.
Not in like with people.
Not with people at all. We look crazy.
We
I
went
know
to
we
a
did.
dinner.
We went to a dinner, a big dinner, and we're like, hey, like, and we're completely sober.
We're like, no, we're fine. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's like now, like, you can, like, I don't know. For us, we can tell, like, sometimes whenever people are just like getting like one of their first Reiki attunements or whatever, maybe you're like, yeah, you're feeling it. But like, I can't. There's one. It might be like ayahuasca or something, or peyote. One of them, there's some hallucinogenic that's supposed to just make everything go like a snap, and then you hear like the woo, like kind of like a singing bowl.
I think it's peyote. Ayahuasca has.
That's like the experience I had just like getting attuned, like having that like no like. There were kids playing outside and stuff like that, and it just went dead silence. And I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be something else. But yeah, I loved it. I like journaled about it afterwards because I was like, I can't like forget it, and that, like you said, made me believe like it's all real. Like,
but I think that we had signed up to have it that way, or we wouldn't have believed. You know what I mean? Like, we needed that unrefutable proof that it was real, or it was really working, or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
I had to get.
Yeah, she said you had to get punched.
You had to get punched a little.
You know, just a little.
I don't know. But like, I mean, everybody, Reiki's different for everybody, and
it is different because like when like we said, our teacher was like, it's gonna be fine. Like, everybody has different accounts of it. Some people are just super happy and peaceful and like just go about their business. And we like email. I was like, was this supposed to be like this? Like, is something wrong? Did I connect to a different energy? Like, what?
Though is it meets you where you are. So anyone who ends up with an attunement, they're gonna be different because everyone's in such a different space, and Reiki meets you.
Yeah.
So you guys are ready to get kind of punched in the face a little bit and have a tripped out moment.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we've gotten like reattuned from different like we have like 2 teachers, so we gotten reattuned by them, and it wasn't the same. But I think it was already because we're already using Reiki, and we were already so it's just like a more pleasant thing. But that first one was something else, and that kind of like really
shifted our life,
shifted everything even more. So like we were already in a trajectory, and that was just like the fuel to it. But
we were driving slow, and then we went 80.
I feel like it's like the feeling of astronauts like going into space, and it's like it's so intense, and like you can't really prepare for it until you're up and then you're up in space, and then you keep going higher, but it's never like that kind of initial launch. But so I found Reiki because, well, I feel like actually I think Reiki found me. So
Reiki finds you. Yeah, Reiki finds you.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it happened. I was going through a breakup, and like I just was experiencing this like grief that I just couldn't understand. And I don't even know what made me do this, but I Googled Reiki near me or something like that. And I found this woman, and she was amazing. And I just went in with no expectations. And, it was very traditional. Like, I laid on the massage table, and from moment one, like I felt all this energy in my body. And I think that's what shocked me more than anything was the physicality. And I, at that point, had a really big heart chakra block. And at one point I was like feeling this intense pressure on my chest, and I just opened my eyes, and she's at my feet. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy because I'm having it here. And she's not even here, but I could have sworn her arm was across my body because that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It's just crying. And then I like left, and I started healing in this new way. It's like nothing had changed, right? Except for the fact that everything had changed.
Yeah.
And I still like had to go through the motions of a breakup, but it was like that grief that was so heavy that I was holding on to had been lifted from me in my body, literally. Like the energy had moved out. And yeah, that's when I started like really stepping into this Reiki space. And so we were attuned to Usui separately. So I think we might have had different experiences, but we did do Holy Fire training together and received distance attunements as you guys did as well. And it's funny because we journaled about it afterwards, and then we compared notes, and it was very similar, which was like also pretty interesting because you don't know what the other person's experiencing, right? You only know what you're experiencing.
And with Holy Fire too, a difference between Usui and Holy Fire is actually how attunements work, is they call it experiences, and the practitioner isn't actually giving it to you. All they're doing is creating the space, and it's like you're in the direct lineage to source at that moment, but each experience brings something different. So for our master training, we did
a few placements and
many
experiences.
That's the word, placements. Sorry, not experiences, placements. And each had a different theme around it. So our teacher she created that space and said the beginning prompt and then just let it happen. And those to me were the most profound moments because each was so unique and different and healed wounds I didn't even realize were mine. And I think the one that was the most profound for me, it was one that it was so physical and there was colors and sensations moving through my body, but then it got to a point of like grief and hurt, and it was the one we're talking about was about healing a lineage. It was from before and I was feeling this pain from someone within my lineage, and it was I've never felt that pain, but it being lifted, it gave me such love and compassion for that as well, because you don't know someone else's pain, or your lineage's pain, but you can feel it and you can release it, and that releasing allows it to transcend into something beautiful and allows that energy, because it doesn't leave, it just transcends and then comes back to you as love. And any experience release can do that.
Yeah. And there's like, whatever that's what it is about lifting the layers and let it transform, let the light transform it, let the healing transform it. And we hold, like, one of the things I guess I did as, an empath, I don't know, some people don't like that word anymore, but as somebody who is very sensitive to other people's energies and like holds different things, especially living with my parents right now during quarantine, it's been really interesting doing some of this work while there and seeing their shadows and working with the shadows that are also within me, because this is a little off topic, but it's just like, we're all connected to, like, our parents have wounds and shadows and they raise us, right? And those same like experiences. And so in some ways, even if you don't know that pain, like what you were talking about, that it's just like you've grown up in it and you've learned it, even if it's not yours and your direct experience. And so what I'm realizing, I think why I'm divinely supposed to be in my parents' house right now, is that by doing this work, while I see them, I'm realizing what I need to heal about myself, that can empower my family, even if it's just by example, right? There's something to it. And it's been really difficult in some ways because a lot of this Reiki healing, like you're saying, it can be very raw and vulnerable. The way that our teacher did our master training is that it was separated out into several weekends. So we went weeks without, a week without another attunement. And so I really feel like we got to feel different stages of the attunement process or placement process, because there were several placements we received. And Shannon and I had very different experiences because we're different people, right? And we hold different energy and have different things to heal. But there was I had this for my birthday, my sister, okay, this is something that's so cool. And maybe I'll connect you with Corey because she's amazing. But for my birthday, my sister got this, it's called a heart portrait for me. So this other Reiki healer, she's based in Louisville, Kentucky, and she's also an artist. She basically channels with watercolors and paints your heart portrait, and then later on, another time, channels your energy and interprets it. And, like, all these things are happening in the same week, right? It's like, I got this heart portrait, and she was like, there's this thing that you're holding on to that's like rotting in your heart. And I was like, it has a physical place in my body. And it was like all these things were colliding at once. And when she was telling me about it, right? And she was telling me about my heart portrait. She's never met me. She doesn't know me, right? She started speaking the story of my life and the story of the things that are my heart is made of. And like beautiful things, wonderful things too, but also dark and heavy things. And then, like a day later, we do this attunement. And it was a very physical one. I started my period. I had a headache for days. And stuck in some anger, some old anger. And it was, I like this quote, like, anger is just old sadness. So it was just interesting. And I felt like I couldn't get out of it. Like, I felt stuck in it. And I realized, like, part of the gift in that is, like, being in that energy, whether it's anger or sadness or grief, there is something so intimate about just being in it, right? And we ended up I reached out to my teacher and I was just like, I can't live like this right now because I am stuck in this anger. And we ended up doing this really amazing special session that basically is like me and Shannon and then our teacher and the other student who's training to get a master's, they connected with us virtually and we did basically a healing session on me. And It was all connected to this heart portrait. It's all this like piece I was holding on to. It was a piece of pain that I've been holding on to. And the message that came through in that healing session with Reiki was just like, the pain isn't who you are. You can let the pain go and you will still be you and you will still have enough. And it's so interesting because it was one of those experiences I can't put to words, but it was like, it was just so direct and it was so divine. And it, like you were saying afterwards, like I basically went and sat outside in the grass for like an hour or two just because I needed to like be in awe of like what is, and just to be experiencing life in this new vibration of like really releasing something that I've been holding on to for so long. And it was the most powerful part of our master training for me because it was something that I've needed probably to heal since before I was even born. It felt like it was a previous life thing that I had just never let go. And to me in that moment, I was like, wow, this Reiki shit can really like transform you. Like if you invite in the healing, if you find a community that can hold space for you in a way where you can go and dig deep into difficult things, like, because I wouldn't have gotten there alone, I don't think. If Shannon had not been there to hold the space for me, if my teacher had not been there to hold the space for me, ask me the questions in the moment, had I not felt safe to be super vulnerable, I wouldn't have dug that deep because it was deep. And I feel so blessed to have that community. And like, I can only hope to create that community for others, right? Or to help create more spaces like that where we can be safe to go deep. Because I think sometimes, at least in my own healing journey and working with mental health stuff, I get stuck in the brain and just trying to figure it out. I can't tell you more than what I've already said about what this anger, sadness, grief was. And I don't need to anymore because it's like I don't have to figure it out. But I had to get my brain out of the way. I had to get into my body and my being and get in touch with that part of my soul. Mm-hmm. And that just requires time and like space and love. And I felt so safe in that moment, even though I was so scared and so vulnerable and having such an emotional response to it. I was crying and I felt it was very physical. Like it felt like this like physical thing moving through me and up and lifting. And I don't know. I haven't, we like recorded it because we recorded all of our sessions. I have not the courage to go back and watch it. But yeah.
So it was beautiful. And what's I think so incredible about Reiki is that it takes you away from the mind and it connects you to the body, because we have all the chakras in alignment for a reason. And as a society, we're so stuck in our head. And even I love the fact that like meditation is becoming so mainstream and people are focused on like clearing their mind, but it's still so focused on the mind. And this is just a computer, right? We are a body, we are an entity, and it's all connected. And that's what I feel so beautiful about Reiki, because it connects you to it and it allows you to have those speechless moments.
Right.
You can't put words to it. You can't put words to 90% of the experiences or sessions or journeys I've had, because it's just color, sensations, feelings, emotions, unknowns.
Right.
But it's in the body and it's sending and releasing. And
right. And sometimes words changes it, right? So when you put words to it, it changes it, and it's so special just in its experience. But yeah, that's something Shannon and I talk a lot about, the wisdom of the body, right? And the wisdom of the gut and the wisdom of these other chakra centers, and like how do we listen to those? And I feel like through Reiki and through becoming more attuned and aware of the chakras, like I've been better at listening to other parts of other wisdom I have. That's just the intellectual wisdom that exists and the intuition that exists. Like intuition exists in each part of you.
Yeah. I love how earlier you said like you could still have you without holding on to that pain. I think sometimes people hold on to their pain so much it becomes them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it allows you, like, you still be you without having all that pain deep down. You can let it go. But people get so attached to it. So I love that.
There's like a pattern you build around your life when you're holding something. So it's just like building your life on a lie, right? Like, I'm not worthy, which I think is one of the lies. Yeah. So when you build your life on that lie and then you start to question that, it's scary because you've built so much on it. So even though you built maybe beautiful things on it, the foundation is shit. So it's scary as fuck. You have to knock everything down. You have to go and you have to dig it up, and then you have to restart over. And I feel like, that's been the scariest part of this journey with Shannon and like the Reiki loop and stuff, is like, wow, I've built my life on all these things, and now as soon as I start to question them, it's like, oh, I have to, not that I have to, maybe my life doesn't look so different externally, but it looks so different internally. And it doesn't allow me to accept certain patterns anymore.
Yeah.
And by releasing that pain, that I still have some pattern behaviors around being in pain that I'm seeing now, though. Like now I'm seeing it from a perspective because it doesn't exist anymore, but that the shadow of it exists, right? Or like the place it used to be exists. So rebuilding behavior, rebuilding like ways of being in the world. It's exciting. Like to me, it's like, wow, not at one point in your life are you like finite, or you stuck, or you can continuously evolve and grow, and yeah, that it's kind of limitless. It's been a really amazing journey in self-exploration.
Mm-hmm.
It is always scary when we have to knock our own towers down to rebuild. It is scary, but it is, usually required. It's either you make the decision yourself or something else is going to intervene and do it for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean, a couple things I really like how you guys have said that, like with Reiki, your body is like your wisdom is healing. That's like sometimes people think like Reiki is like external, like it's not them. Like as a Reiki practitioner, I'm just attuned to the energy. I'm just channeling it for your body to do the job. And sometimes that gets lost, that you're actually like healing yourself. So I really appreciate that you are saying this in this podcast and kind of like teaching our listeners a little bit more about like how that energy works. And then like I got chills when you talked about the ancestral stuff, Shannon, because that's something that like I've been working with a little bit during like quarantine, because that's a part of like healing our families, is like that ancestral healing that we can experience, especially whenever we are working with like Reiki and working on healing ourselves. So I'm like, oh yeah.